Hello students, welcome back to the third day of power sharing. So we'll resume from where we stopped in the previous class. In the previous class, we completed the case study of Sri Lanka. In this class, we'll talk about Belgium. What happened in Belgium unlike Sri Lanka? Let's find out. The topics that we'll study today are accommodation in Belgium, significance of Belgian power sharing model, comparative analysis of Belgium and Sri Lanka. After this video lesson, it is expected that you'll be able to tell about the power sharing arrangement in Belgium. Also, you could compare the power sharing arrangement between Sri Lanka and Belgium. Let's see the accommodation in Belgium. It's really important to understand the power sharing model adopted by Belgium. How Belgium accommodated everyone, all the ethnic division in the country conveniently. Although the path was not simple, the Belgian leaders took a different path, a completely different path than what we have observed in Sri Lanka. They recognized the existence of regional differences and cultural diversities. They understood that it is very important to respect others' values, others' culture, and it is important to accommodate regional differences and cultural diversities to have a peaceful country where everyone could live conveniently and easily. And hence, between 1970 and 1993, they amended, means made changes in their constitution 4 times. And these amendments were to work out an arrangement that would enable everyone to live together within the same country. Like you have seen in Sri Lanka, that they were demanding a separate Tamil state, and here you see that everyone lived in the same country. The arrangement that they worked out is different from any other country in the world, and it is really innovative. The leaders have realized that the unity of the country is possible only by respecting the feelings and interests of different communities and regions. Now let's talk about how was the Belgian power sharing model, which model they adopted after the 4 amendments that they did. So constitution amended 4 times and 4 levels of government formed: central government, state government, capital government, and community government. So 4 levels of government formed. The different levels of government formed on the principle of equal representation. Constitution prescribes that the number of Dutch and French-speaking ministers shall be equal in the government. Quite good. So an adjustment both the communities did for equal representation, and there had been no issues between these two communities. No single community can make decisions unilaterally, it means alone. Many powers of the central government have been given to state governments of the two regions of the country. And I would like to mention here this arrangement in which power is divided into different levels of government is known as federalism. We'll discuss more about it in upcoming lessons, as well as we have a separate chapter, that is the second chapter, in which we'll talk about federalism. The state government were not considered subordinate to the central government. Brussels has a separate government in which both the communities have equal representation. So quite unique. They have got a capital government, and in the capital government, again, there was principle of equal representation. 50% Dutch ministers and 50% French ministers. The French-speaking people accepted equal representation in Brussels because the Dutch-speaking community has accepted equal representation in the central government. So, Dutch speakers compromised at the central level and French speakers compromised in the capital government. Apart from the central and the state government, there is a third kind of government which was quite unique, which is quite unique, that is the community government, which gave power sharing to all the communities. This community government is elected by people belonging to one language community, Dutch, French and German speaking. No matter where they live, this government has the power regarding cultural, educational and language related issues. So you all are already aware, in the previous video lesson we have discussed the ethnic division of Belgium, in which we have discussed that the percentage of German speakers was only 1%. Still, they got sharing in the power. So that created a very good atmosphere in Belgium. And that is why we consider Belgian model as a unique model of power sharing. As we have already gone through the Belgian model in the previous slide, let's talk about the significance of Belgian power sharing model. Belgian model is a unique model of power sharing, undoubtedly. It indeed is very complicated even for people living in Belgium. Still, it is one of the best model in the world in which everyone got the accommodation, everyone has got the opportunity to share power. But these arrangements have worked well so far. They help to avoid civic strife between the two major communities and a possible division of the country on linguistic lines. When many countries of Europe came together to form the European Union, Brussels was chosen as its headquarters. Now we have two pictures here for picture perception and analysis. In the first one, you can see this girl is using a magnifying lens that shows that she has analyzed everything and she has checked everything about Belgium, and she is thinking, what kind of solution is this? I'm glad our constitution does not say which minister will come from which community. It depends on the situation. Yes, it is true that we don't have any such arrangement, and that is because of the ideals in our constitution. We have a secular government, and based on that, we don't have any such division on the basis of which ministers could be chosen or any position could be given. However, in Belgium, although it was really complicated, but still that resolved the issue, that satisfied the different communities, the different ethnic groups, and eventually the solution was good. Now on the other side you can see another picture, and of course I am not aware of the language here, but as per the description you can see here that both the language Dutch and French is used in the picture. So on the signboard both the languages are used to respect both the languages, unlike Sri Lanka, where you remember that Sinhala became the official language of Sri Lanka and Tamil was disregarded. So we should respect all the languages, and that has been done in Belgium. Now, as we have completed both the case studies, today about Belgium, we discussed the power sharing model, and in the previous video lesson we discussed about Sri Lanka. So after going through both the case studies, we can easily compare both the case studies, both the countries, and we can have a comparative analysis of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Let's compare. In this line, the first point you can see here, majoritarian policy in Sri Lanka led to conflicts, led to civil war, while accommodation policy led to peace in Belgium. It means the adjustment at one place, they started living together, they adjusted everything. So that policy led to peace in Belgium. The next one, majoritarian policy in Sri Lanka led to demand of separate state for a particular linguistic group, while accommodation policy made all linguistic community to live together in same country. So majoritarian policy was a divisive policy. However, the accommodation policy was a policy that made the country united. There was a political instability in Sri Lanka, civil war happened, and the country became politically unstable. However, despite complex structure and despite complex constitution, the political stability established in Belgium became stable. Now the next point is that development was hindered in Sri Lanka due to civil war. Of course, if there is any war that hinders, that become an obstacle in the path of development. While Belgium, one of the important places in Europe and got headquarters of European Union. So by these two examples, it can be concluded that power sharing is a sustainable model for governance, stability, peace and development. So you have got all these keywords here, that power sharing is a sustainable model for governance, stability, peace and development. Now you have this question to think and conclude. Annette studies in a Dutch medium school in the northern region of Belgium. Many French-speaking students in her school want the medium of instruction to be French. Selvi studies in a school in northern region of Sri Lanka. All the students in her school are Tamil speaking, and they want the medium of instruction to be Tamil. If the parents of Annette and Selvi were to approach respective governments to realize the desire of the child, who is more likely to succeed and why? So the clue for this question is very simple, what you have studied. So where the power sharing exists and where the power sharing does not exist. So first case is of Belgium and the second case is of Sri Lanka. So of course in Sri Lanka there is no power sharing model. Think over it. You can easily write the answer with the specific points. As we have completed today's class, it's the time for assignments. All the assignments are based on what you have studied today. So the first question is, Belgium produced a unique model of power sharing. Justify the statement. You need to explain about the different things adopted in Belgium that produced a unique model. The second one, comparison. Compare the different ways in which the Belgians and Sri Lankans have dealt with the problem of cultural diversity. So in both the countries, there had been cultural diversity. There is cultural diversity. How they tackled the situation, that you need to compare and write in the answer. Please follow the writing guidelines. Thank you.